comic culture and sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Welcome to Kickin It With Onrie, the live crowdfunding show, guys. I'm your host, Onrie Kompan. A couple hours ago, we received news of Neal Adams passing. And this has been a very traumatizing day for the entire comic book industry. But we're going to keep our spirits up because Neal Adams was a true advocate for creators. And the show must go on as always. And today we got a great guest for you guys. So stick around. Kicking It With Onrie, the live crowdfunding show is going on, baby.
For years, I have traveled the world slinging my creator-owned comics at the biggest and hottest cons. Now I'm sitting down with creators who have active crowdfunding campaigns happening right now, and I'm opening the gateway so that you can connect with them and support their work. You're watching Kickin It With Onrie, the live crowdfunding show.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here with us today. Now, before I bring on today's outstanding, sensational, wonderful guest, I just want to share my Neal Adams experience with you guys very quickly, very short, and we will bring on our guest. But I had the opportunity of meeting Neal at San Diego Comic-Con in 2012, and he had just finished an interview with another comic book dealer that I was set up with. So I asked him, Neal, would you be okay with taking a look at Yisun Shin and letting me know what you think about it? And he goes, absolutely. So I gave him a copy of the book. He checked it out, and I came up to him afterwards, and I said, Neal, is it okay if I could have like a blurb or something, to help, kind of promote the book? And he had really liked what he had read, and of course he was very overwhelmed, but he still made time for me as a creator. And this was a man who had the utmost respect for everybody in this field who was pursuing it as an art form. And he loved his fans, and he loved every aspect of this business. And I think in honor of him, we need to keep pushing forward and keep an optimistic attitude. That's what Neal always did. He always kind of carried this industry on his shoulders, kind of, and so to speak. And, it was kind of like he was truly one of the greats, and he will be sorely missed. So without further ado, however, I'd like to bring on our guest right now, who's a very eager, go-getting creator who I know that if Neal had a chance to meet her, and maybe Neal already did meet her, I don't know what she's going to tell us in a second here, but, she is one of the biggest go-getters I have ever met in comics. And it is my pleasure to bring on Christy Shin! Christy Mofo Shin!
Hey, how's it going, man? How's it going?
It's going fantastic. I'm sorry I made you wait so long. That was not fair.
Well, you blew out the microphone. I could barely hear you.
Yeah, you could punch me in the arm next time you see me.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's funny because Onrie and I, we kind of share the same type of personality in some ways, and we kind of understand each other. It's funny. Also, we were both. Well, I don't know if you were, but you live in Chicago. I was born in Chicago. I moved when I was little because my parents were like, "Fuck this."
Oh, I didn't know that about it. I didn't know that. From Chi-Town. Yeah. I'm right in Korea. I'm right in the Korean part of
well, I lived in Evanston. I was born in Evanston.
I was in Northbrook, so Evanston's like 20 minutes from me.
Yeah, and then we lived in Skokie, the Jewish area, so it's like that's why we get along too.
Jewish area, Skokie. Sorry.
Yeah, it was great, but I don't remember much of it. I think when I get mad, then I sort of lapse into the Chicago accent when I get really fucking angry. But yeah, hey, James Sanchez, he's awesome. I actually wrote him a fucked up. He dropped a good pledge, and I will say that every time you pledge, I will write you a fucked up thank you note. You just kind of bear the language. But yeah, going up with Neal Adams, it's funny. I did meet him a few times. He actually had the Krusty Bunker. That's his comic store / gallery kind of thing. That's also, I think that's where he had his workshop. He was involved in CAPS. I don't know if he was a member or not. I've got to check as well as being the president of CAPS. But he, as this news was kind of shocking to me, I was like, oh, geez, because I've met the man a few times, and I'm going to say he had one hell of a personality. He had a reputation that preceded him on many. He could be fearsome to people he did not like, but from what I understood of people that he didn't like, there was a good reason to. He essentially he actually stood up for artists when not a lot of people would in the industry.
He absolutely did. That's he did for Joe Shuster, Joel Siegel. And, you know, I've come to creators, a lot of professionals who are like, who were not even as high as Neil Adams, like guys who, you know, they had been in comics for a long time, but they hadn't done the body of work that he did. And I came to them and asked for like endorsements, you know, from them or just some sort of support, or just something. And some of these guys would just completely blow me off, which is understandable. You know what I mean? They're busy or whatever, but it was not a highly encouraging thing. Whereas Neil, in the middle of San Diego Comic-Con, you know, took time out of his schedule to like, you know, to actually look at my work and let me know what he thinks. And the fact that you know him and the fact that everybody knows him, everybody knew Neil. He was a regular at the shows. You know, you'd be at like dinner after a convention Friday and you'd see Neil Adams like at the buffet. You know, it's like it's not like we were all together in a sense, you know, even though we didn't necessarily break bread together, you know, we were all in the same places.
Yeah. I mean, I say in the short conversations I've had with him, he was nice. I mean, I'm not trying to be like, oh, he was this guy and everything. No,
he had funny. I have funny Neil stories. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you're the guest here.
Well,
and
I mean,
what I need to do, I need to steer this in the right direction.
Okay.
Otherwise, after the show's over, Kyle's going to put my head on the chopping block. I don't want that to happen.
Can't believe anybody would intimidate you, sir.
You know what they say? A happy Kyle is what is it with the wives again? Sell the book, Hunter. Sell the book. All right. Anyway, we're here. I have to steer the direction in the right place.
All right.
So you have a Kickstarter.
Yes.
And I want to know all about this Kickstarter. And I know all of our fans want to listen about your Kickstarter. And we got a link to your Kickstarter. And I'm going to back your Kickstarter right now because I actually haven't. So tell us everything. I'm going to shut up now. And you take the stage.
Okay, so essentially what it was is that the character is called Demon Bitch, and she represents everything wrong with society, especially influencer society or just attention whores. So she's a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell where people throw their dog shit and gum wrappers. And she wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one never happened because she's stupid. So what this campaign is called You All Suck. This is why we all had to deal with all the bullshit during COVID-19 out of our homes where we were staring at the screen and watching everybody overreact to everything. And the tagline is COVID-19 made us all stupid. Now we get to laugh at ourselves. This means you. And yes, this means all of us because it was dumb. Like I was in the middle of the George Floyd stuff. And I swear to God, there were all of these influencers dressing all sexy, putting on their makeup and putting up the signs. And it's like, really? It was just the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen. And it's just like how we just dispose of people in our society after they've given their clout to us. Like, after the whole George Floyd thing, they buried him and nobody remembers anymore or cares. It's really weird now. It's like social media silence. So it's a comment on that. And so I did a book called Triggered. It's a graphic novel. It's 137 pages of bullshit. And it'll come with different things. Like I've been a veteran of 5 Kickstarters, three successful ones. This will be my 4th successful one, it looks like. And it will be, it's just like basically we're doing all, like there's the Triggered graphic novel. Then there's Demon Bitch, the disgusting dumpster fire game. Basically, she wakes up and she doesn't have any attention. So she's got to go and like continuously like look for attention by making fake medical selfies to like writing long, sad posts about everything. Oh, that's sweet, Mike. Yeah. And then another one is the Tamabichi pins. That's done by Hyde Hermit Studios. They also did a patch that was a tiki patch. And it was called Tamabichi. And she has the mad face and the stupid happy face. And there was actually some original art on sale that was for that, but that got sold out really quick. So I've put some more sketches up. There's Band-Aid, there's Pink Eye and Broken Ankle, and there's Turd Sucker. But I think the Boot to the Head and the There Is No God and Karma have been sold. It should be up on the site. You can select them as add-ons or they're their own tier. And then lastly, the Tiki patch is done by Dallas Hoisington, the other half, and he's into Tiki stuff, so it's the sticker and everything. And then what we have last but not least, Mary Zoralita Bellamy. She's actually worked on properties like My Little Pony. And the most recent one is a card game from Hasbro called Adventures in Equestria. I think you can still pre-order that, but it might already be out. I'm not sure. I have no affiliation with Hasbro. I'm just featuring some of her artwork. But she did this thing called Animu Demon, which is Demon Bitch and mixed in with Sailor Moon, and it's going to be a charm. So I've got to get that manufactured, and there's 3 prints for that. So other than that, and there's another thing that you can showcase: win a blind date with Demon Bitch. No, not me. Okay, I know people have said that, but what you can do is that I can go ahead and just document the worst blind date you've ever been on. And if we hit the stretch goals, 7,500, I'm going to print a lot more of the hardcover. There is a hardcover option you can order. That's fine. And hitting 8,000, basically I'll include pasties with every physical order.
Look at that. Talk about sales, guys. That is, oh man, Christy, you are a freaking warrior, dude. I absolutely love watching you work. And you absolutely destroy at cons, by the way, too. Like, you have just polished up. And you know what? Here's what's so cool about this. I get tickled by all of this for a completely different reason. So I'm gonna tell you guys straight up right now, and 100% me being like honest with you guys right now, Christy Shin really helped guide me through COVID in a lot of ways, because when the pandemic happened and conventions were shut down, we all kind of banded together as creators, people that, you tend to see at these shows who are affected by the fact that they're all canceled. We all kind of, we grew closer together. In a lot of ways, I want to say that's the great thing about what resulted out of COVID. If you could say anything good came out of it. But Christy, her tenacity has just been unyielding throughout this entire pandemic, and seeing you out on the other end of this, and look at where you're doing right now, man. Like, I want to get to that point where you're at right now with Kickstarter. I mean, you're just going up there and you got everything, like everything laid out. Everybody knows who you are. You're totally rocking it right now, dude. And the best part about it is that there's no pandering with your work either. I mean, it's just so raw and out there. It's you, 100% who you are. And there's nothing fake about how you present yourself. People will either like it or they don't. And I think that's why, going back to Neil Adams for a minute, that's something that he would have really appreciated about you, because I think he was very much the same way. And I think that's what art is about.
Yeah. It's like, if I don't like you, I don't like you. But, he wasn't a jerk to me. I mean, he was very nice. Like, he was polite. But, I mean, it's just like, I think he had to get to know you. I think he was one of those people. But again, I respect him I met good people through him. And, they're kind of crotchety like him too sometimes, but I mean that in the most affectionate way, because sometimes I can be a real crotchety asshole too. Like, there are times it's like, if people just like start pissing me off, it's like, okay, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to talk to you. And that's it, and there's nothing wrong with that, I think, and sometimes it's like when you get into it with people, you're just like, all right, I'm not fucking dealing with this shit now. And I think that's actually a healthier thing now than to try to quote unquote fix the problem. And I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't have conflict resolution. That's good. But sometimes when you're really angry, or if the other person's really angry or agitated, it's not the best time to fix things. Yeah, James, Neil was a rock star. He was incredibly prolific. I mean, it wasn't just because he lived a while and made a body of work. He was really prolific. Like, at shows, like, he had this huge ass booth and he was just,
oh my God, yeah, that's another great story.
Yeah, it was like, damn.
All right. So I was at Wisconsin Comic-Con, which was like the deadest show of all time in 2019.
Oh, that sucks.
Neil was at this show, and we were both commiserating because, like, no one was there. It didn't matter if you were Neil Adams. Heck, it didn't matter if you were Stan Lee. Like, no one was at this show. It was dead. It was a ghost town. All right. So Neil walks past my booth, and I'm like, "Hey, Neil." And he says, "Hey, how's it going?" And I said, "How'd the show go for you today?" He goes, "How do you think it went?" "I'm Neil effing Adams." I love that story. And he just walked off. That was perfect. And then he was on the news later that night. So, like, talking about how he changed the look of Batman. And, like, he was like the definitive Batman that we know as, like, the Dark Knight. That was established by Neil. That's something a lot of people, like, don't realize, is like just how much this guy actually did in our industry. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And now you're leaving that same imprint, but in a very different way, because I don't think that there are a lot of creators out there who are as raw as you are. And everybody's always kind of afraid. Like, I'm afraid to have a conversation with somebody who may not have the same opinion as me. And that's the thing I love most about having you as a friend, is I've always felt that even if you and I don't necessarily agree, that no matter what happens, we're going to be real with each other and we're going to have a conversation, and we can see beyond all the indifferences that we have, maybe politically or religiously or whatever the case is, and just come together for this thing called comics that we both mutually love and respect.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm just kind of like, I don't get into the stupid piss fights in comics personally. The only piss fights I've ever been interested in is if somebody's been annoying me. And that's pretty much
I got that problem with Ted Sikora all the time. He's always like buying up books and then like sending me videos of all his awesome finds. And like, meanwhile, I'm not able to get deals at all because I actually go to Comic Cons to sell comics, not buy them.
Well, there you go, right? But yeah, I'm just laughing about that. Like, yeah, it's kind of funny. I had a conversation with one convention, and it's actually funny because I was laughing with Don Wynn. He's one of the guys at Caps. But, you know, I'm the president, but I have my own table. And but Caps will have a booth over at this con. And this is not to call it the con or anything. It's just really funny because this is what I run into. It's like some cons are okay with me putting up Demon Bitch and some of them aren't. They have this
and it's weird how that works sometimes. Like I was at an artist alley once, and this guy did not like my setup. Like I had two banners next to each other. He's like, "You can't have that.
I've never heard that.
One of them down. You absolutely have to take one of them down." And he would not let it go. I had to take my banner down. And he said it was like a fire emergency. And really, all it came down to was him just not liking the artwork on my banner.
That's weird. Like behind the table, it really shouldn't be anything if it's not obstructing any pathways. That would not.
And I tried arguing with him. But then I realized that if I kept arguing with him, I'd just get kicked off the floor. And I needed to work and I needed to make the money. So if he wanted me to take my stupid banner down, it's better to just take the freaking banner down. It's not like it mattered. It didn't stop my sales, you know? And that's, again, something I respect so much about you is that you're the same way. Like, you know, I've seen how you work. Like, nothing has stopped you. You got really sick before 2019.
Yeah.
And you recovered and you're like on your feet and you're killing it and you're amazing, dude.
Thank you. It's kind of weird because when you're in doing all this stuff, like I know we've had conversations where you've been down and I've been down, like, fuck man, I'm tired. And really it boils down that our bodies kind of limit us. So we get tired. And when we get tired, our mood gets shitty, basically, you know, because we're very high energy people. Oh, shout out to Don Wynn. He helped us figure out the branding for the experience. There you go. I didn't know you guys already knew each other. That's awesome. Yeah, Don's really cool.
Don does a lot of stuff with you know, the EXP.
I didn't know that. But I mean, again, Don like is so busy doing shit, he doesn't have time to talk about it all. He's he's like a whore, total. Like, and I say that affectionately. Like he just like when we put him like in charge because he's a Caps member, like of the board, social media board kind of thing, along with Eddie D'Angelini. Like Eddie handles the website and he handles the social media. It's like bam, 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 bam. And I've been putting out the word like, look, if you're a member, tag us. We will retweet you and all that. The Pablo the Gorilla shirt, right? I didn't know. Damn, guys. That's awesome. What a small world. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's funny because it's like for us, it's like we don't know how much work we put out until we kind of sit back and we're like, oh, okay.
You know, I'm amazed by it. But Kyle knows everything. He's like one of those guys who like knows everything that's going on in independent comics. And it's the most wonderful thing because Kyle is like, you know, the architect of all this. And I really, and he knew who you were when it was funny because you messaged me and you're like, Onrie, you gotta someone was talking about you to me. And I was like, who? And you were like, it's Kyle. I'm like, of course it's Kyle.
My day job is to pay attention to the indies. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like I find it funny because I got elected president of Caps and I'm in Underground Comics. Hey, Vu,
how are you? Yeah. But, you know, the reason why I say that is because it's interesting. Like, we never think our exploits are really being captured, right? Because we're so small and micro. But, like, it is. And people do see everything that we're doing. And Kyle is just one of thousands, you know, potentially millions, because especially as we're starting to see, you know, more and more comic book related properties get licensed into film. So, and I know that even you were working on something at some point, right? With
I really can't talk about it right now. But yeah, I was but there's some stuff going on, and that's all I can really say. So, until it gets into more and more, I just said, yes, there's things coming down the pipe, and that's all I'm going to say the teaser trailer for. But I do have I'm planning another Kickstarter probably in fall. I don't know. It depends on if I finish volume 2 of Sepulcher. And volume 2 of Sepulcher, I'm going to also market the Murder Ballads Tarot. And it's not after the Nick Cave Murder Ballads. It's like I just kind of like the theme, and it's like all dark and everything. And it's just my tarot deck. I did a shitty tarot deck, but it wasn't like an actual tarot deck. It's just Demon Bitch is Stupid. And it was a different form of oracle cards in Lenormand style fortune telling deck. But yeah, so it's been crazy. Like, I went out of my first out of state in Boise, Idaho for Gem State Comic Con. So that was great. I was a guest there. I'm going to go to the Pleasanton one, the Powerhouse Comic Con, for a day. And then I'm going to be at Ontario, not Ontario, Canada, but Ontario, California, and be there. But it was really funny. As I said, going back to the con, it was funny because not a lot of them will let me do bitch. So they asked me to censor it. And it's just kind of funny.
How do you censor it? What do you do?
I just star out the eye. I mean, I said, they even asked me, how do I want to censor it? I said, I'll censor it like this, And again, I get their point. I mean, they're trying to market to all ages. And but it's like the fact
hey, little girl.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because like I seem to have the weirdest time with things, because with me, like one time I just said, I am the woman that all your daughters want to be. And it was funny. I did not know it was not Mother's Day, but it was Women's Day. And I always thought that was pretty funny that I said it that day, because I can't keep track of like half the days that are out there commemorating something or another. But at least I have the perfect time to say what I need to say. So there you go.
All right, Christy, we're going to take a very short commercial break. We're going to come back. We're going to pick this up. Guys, watch these commercials. It's important. This is how we build up the experience. So check it out. Everything you see on here, all these commercials are all related to comics stuff. So check it out, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that every experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out. Twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code. Thanks for tuning into The Experience. Help us out and hit subscribe over on YouTube and click the bell when you do. Need some help? Scan the QR code in the bottom corner. For years, I have traveled the world slinging my creator-owned comics at the biggest and hottest cons. Now I'm sitting down with creators who have active crowdfunding campaigns happening right now, and I'm opening the gateway so that you can connect with them and support their work. You're watching Kickin It With Onrie, the live crowdfunding show.
Welcome back. How's it going?
It's going good. Had the moment to take a breather and take a shot, because this thing has been kind of like wearing at my nerves.
Take a shot and subscribe to the EXP mailer, which you should all be doing, because we actually have really great programming coming up. And actually, we wrote about you last week and how you were on the Dan Wickline show and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yes, we're really trying to make a push to let everybody know all the awesome programming that is going to be coming up on the EXP. And it's to get everybody more excited so that we can start doing bigger things and getting, bigger guests, making more things happen, so that it's kind of like one of those situations where you're at a virtual Comic-Con, and it actually, that's exactly what it is. And it's directing people to your Kickstarter, and that's the whole point of the show, is to bring people directly to your crowdfunding campaign. So guys, do us a favor, please seriously consider backing Christy Shin's Kickstarter. I know today is kind of a tough day, but Christy is one of those creators that I think we can all get behind. And I know for a fact that our man Neil Adams had the utmost respect for you. You probably met him. Like you said, you met him a bunch of times. You knew him, and I know for a fact he respected you. If he already acknowledged you as a comics creator, then he had respect for you just out the door. That's the kind of
yeah. I mean, as I said, I didn't come up to him like, "Hey, what's up?" or something, but we had a few conversations. I mean, it wasn't like totally in depth, but it was fun. Like he was a nice enough guy. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've heard stories that he could be crabby, but at the same time, I mean, I'm pretty sure some people were annoying and pissed him off, and I would feel the same way too.
I'm just responding. Sorry, I'm also laughing at what you're saying, but
No.
but anyway, let's kick it back to what you've been doing with Caps. So that's been an interesting development in your career. How did that come about?
I kind of just thought to myself, like, just something in me was like, because I go with a lot of my gut feeling or something, or just kind of like, I should probably do this. I can't give you a reason why, but I just do it, and then it ends up working out. So I guess I should follow that. Every time I followed that, it's always worked out really well for me. So just something in me was like, I should probably apply and be president of Caps, see how it is. And then it's kind of opened a whole world of what I could possibly do for the organization and the artists that are there. I mean, we've got some writers, we got some publishers. It's kind of weird because it's about sequential art. We do have animators there, but a lot of the qualifications have to do with sequential or other non-sequential comic art. And we've had people like Lynn Johnston, guests like Lynn Johnston. We have people like Lonnie Millsap in there. Neil was, I know, a regular. I think he was a member. I mean, sorry, guys, I'm still reorganizing everything. But it was like I had to kick it into out of post-COVID, this organization. And we noticed this, like a lot of organizations like ours probably suffered because we did not have cons. So there wasn't really nothing to report.
Yeah. So you had to make these events happen. And like, you must have been working really hard to make things happen at a time where everything was so adamant about staying shut. It
was like this year I became president in February. And I was like, you know what? There's some things I just want to add into the organization. I can't get into it now. It's not nascent now. But just like streamlining some of the operations, outreach, also announcing what we're doing. And even Don was like, well, there's only a few events. Hey, Philip, how's it going? But it was funny because like with the events when it was first starting out, because we are in California. It is California based, Los Angeles based. And Don was like, there's not much to report. Just keep spamming. Just keep spamming it. Because I just didn't want to see the fucking 2021 shit anymore. I was like, dude. And I even sent in newsletters to the members, like, tag us, and we will go and retweet your stuff. We will repost your stuff. And it's been working out really well. I always tag a lot of stuff. I mean, with Neil Adams' passing, Caps released a really good commemoration about him. And so I just reposted it in my main Instagram account just to kind of get it out there like, hey, look, we are acknowledging that we lost a great here today. So, and we also updated the website just now to reflect that. So, how it's going to change on that today, it's going to not with Caps per se, but as an industry. Let me just see there. But, regarding Neil Adams, we may have updates on that. We're not really sure. So we're going to see, but at least we wanted to put it out there that we acknowledge a great has passed on. And that's what we need to do as people in the comics industry, acknowledge that. I'm not laughing about that. I'm just like,
no. I everything you're saying is, I know it's coming from the heart. It's 100% there. And, it's the thing I was thinking about throughout all of this is just seeing how much your roles have changed in comics since COVID.
Yeah.
It's really quite incredible how much you've grown.
Thank you.
I remember the conversations we were having in 2020 as opposed to where we are now. And it's like leaps and bounds, dude. Like, you're doing completely different stuff now. It's really wild. I'm really proud of you, Christy. You know, it's you're a part of something much larger now, which is really cool. And how's that impacted your creative duties on Demon Bitch? Like, are you able to balance it out? Do you still have time to create?
I do. Well, not right now. I do this Kickstarter. That's why it's like, please guys, fund me tonight, so I can get my mind off of it, because I'm at 7,000 and you pledged, and I'm at 6,200. So I'm very happy. Thank you. But yeah, guys, if you
told you something was going to happen today.
There you go.
How it goes. That's how it goes. So guys, I'm going to tell you straight up right now, this campaign absolutely will fund, but the sooner it funds, the more Christy can offer you guys, the more stuff she can do for you guys. Yeah. So, and it just takes the stress off her. During this final push right here, that is the worst part of the campaign, because that's when you have people dropping out, and it's very demoralizing. It can really just throw you off. And backing this campaign right now, Christy knows that if you guys back this campaign right now, she knows that those are going to be pledges that are not going to be pulled out, because you guys are actually taking the time to tune in and watch this. So please do us a favor, check out her Kickstarter, back it right now. Let's get her to 7,000. Let's give the girl what she wants. A good Christy is a happy Christy. There you go. No, wait.
If I'm angry, I make good comics too. So.
Sorry, I've lost it. I keep trying to remember that quote I wanted to say, and I keep getting lost.
I know it has to do with happy cows and milk.
No, it's like happy wife, happy life. Happy wife.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, happy Kyle, happy life. Happy Christy, happy life. There we go. It only took me 31 minutes and 39 seconds to figure it out, guys, but I did it. Thanks.
Oh, there you go. Well, it didn't take that long. We were just at that marker point. But yeah, it's just that essentially I've had almost 100% fulfillment with Kickstarters anyway.
And that's
there's
that's the most important thing.
Yeah, like the thing is, maybe there's one or two people, and I would email them repeatedly, and I would meet up with them and said, "Hey, I want to give you your reward. Can I send it?" And no answer. So I'm like, okay. But everywhere else, like what I do is I do fast fulfillment too. Like as soon as I get the money, because Kickstarter will give you like 14 days of processing. So after the 14 days of processing, what I do is I fulfill the orders I can fast. Like prints are fast. The books may take an additional 1 or 2 weeks, depending on how many I order and quality control on my end. And this is all kind of being done domestically, or if it's done overseas, they can fly the product in. So you don't have to worry about too many product hangups. And also I'll sign all the books with the most worst like signatures ever. Better late than never. Onrie's had a sound. That's funny. And then I've done the thing where I have my friends sign Mary sign the print as well. So it's been pretty crazy on that. So it's really cool. Very happy about that.
That's awesome, Christy. That's really great. So I was telling you earlier, I sold my copy of the first Demon Bitch trade. And I read Demon Bitch and I really liked it. It's very different because it is just so raw. And it was something like, as soon as I had read it, I was like, wow, the best thing about this book is if you really want to understand Christy's humor, Christy's personality, Christy's like bluntness, this is the book for you. And I think a lot of people are afraid to voice their opinions because they're afraid of that scrutiny. Whereas you just kind of face it head on. You're like, come at me. But me, I hide like a coward. But like you are just like so fearless in this regard. And don't you ever worry about what if I say the wrong thing at the wrong time, or is that ever something that you worry about? Because I worry about it myself. But I wonder, like, how is it for you? Because at times there's gonna be someone who disagrees.
Well, I mean, I think it would really depend about things in general. Like, I think we've all put our foot in our mouth at one point or another. Getting good rest kind of helps with that. For me, I never like to be really angry when I say something. Like, if I'm a little pissed, I'll probably say something. but I'll voice that I'm pissed so people don't go further with it. Like, I'm really angry right now. Don't talk to me. Or if I'm really angry and this has a potential to be a fight, what I've learned is that don't try to solve things when you're really angry if you can, a lot of the time, especially like in relationships with friendships or all that. You kind of need to walk away sometimes, because sometimes it's like you want to just kind of burn off the anger or burn off like what was stressing you that day or whatever, and just go like, okay, I need to take a break, and there's no problem with that. A lot of de-escalation communication resources will tell you, when you're starting to get mad, walk away. Like, it's okay, I'm starting to get angry. We're not going to talk about this right now. Let's talk when I'm not angry. And that is not because, you don't want to avoid resolving it. But the thing is that if you're resolving it or trying to get an answer out of somebody, especially an answer if you want, that is the worst thing to do, is just to make somebody that angry at you. They're not going to give you anything and just tell you to go fuck yourself, or vice versa. So for me, it's like anger is useful, but you have to kind of channel it very well. And I think with me, if I'm really angry, like I just generally don't like to respond to people unless like I really don't give a shit about ever talking to them ever again. But yeah, I mean, for me, yeah, do I occasionally like worry about it? I think I do think about that, but more often than not, what I've said I needed to say, and I should have said it in the long run. But again, if I'm really upset or angry with somebody, I'm just not going to go into it.
And what's so great about your work is you just get to say it. It's like you found this perfect vessel for expression, and it is, like I keep saying, raw and very real. And it's not one of those books that it's one of those books that if you don't understand who Christy is, you might take it the wrong way. But I love the way you just what you just said right now, because I think that's a very important aspect to everything. And you don't mince words about it, but you also don't shy away from it either in the forward to your book. And I remember you reading that as well. Like you had written about how this is not a character who represents you, but everything you hate about other people in your life. So or not in your life, but other people who have impacted your life in some way. Like this is the culmination of all these things. And I think that's a really interesting concept that you've been able to run with for a very long time. And it's almost like its own comedic routine, but not like it does feel like a comedic routine. Like I feel like we should see you up on the stage, showing us, like doing like a verbal, telling of your strips.
Actually, it is funny because I actually have done stand-up a few times. It's on my YouTube channel.
You're incredible. You're great at it. You're like the first. I'm not kidding. You started broadcasting like you and I started broadcasting at the same time, but I didn't jump into live sales until like 6 months down the road. I was just, doing interviews and things like that. You were one of the first people I interviewed. And like, I just saw you come on there, and then you're going on and you're doing this like Artist Alley shopping thing, and you're selling your prints, and you're selling your stuff, and you were making it happen. Like you did not slow down for a second. I was so blown away by you, and I was watching and I was thinking to myself, I need to really get my stuff together. And then because you truly like lapped me by miles. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm just so impressed with how you've adapted, and now seeing like how you've grown. It's like you became a giant.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's been kind of interesting, this whole growth thing, because in some ways it's like you're the one in the body growing up, but you kind of don't see what you look like on that level sometimes. It's weird. It's not like you don't know who you are, you do, but at the same time, it's not like everybody else third party like looking at you inside out.
JD's been doing a good job of putting words in our mouth. Better late than never. Oh boy, that's my headstone, huh?
There's a quote, Christy Shin's book is so raw, it's bound to leave a rash. I'm like, pretty much. I mean, it's funny because like people were saying to me, like, don't do this, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, why am I taking your advice that you're miserable using? fuck you kind of thing. And then so I just did what I did. And now everybody's like, oh, you were right. I'm like, yes. So it's like, I think the reason why I built that up is I used to get bullied a lot in general. So I had to learn how to stick up for myself. And then, being told, oh, you need to be the bigger person and walk away. And I'm not saying that you need to go over to somebody's house and egg them or destroy their property or something or hurt them.
Though neither of us will deny having done that to our bullies.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like my thing is that like I prefer to kind of just eviscerate somebody by a parody. And that's what I do. I don't put their names on it, so nobody knows it's them. But it's funny because like there's so many people that go like, "Oh, I knew somebody that just like that." So it's like these are the bullies are the ones that go like, "Well, I'm special," and it's like, no, you're really not. No egging, but prank calls. Game on. I swear to God, there's some people that do some overcompensatory behavior. There's like this one person that would always go, "My ass, my ass, my ass," and everything just be annoying. But then, like, when you really look at it, it looks like a diaper bag full of shit. It really looks bad. Like, it's just floppy and loose every day, and it gets worse every year. And I see that, and I think it's really funny, to be honest. You're just like, damn.
No, I used to do a lot of prank calling, too.
Oh.
I love prank calling. I mean, that's, like, really kind of like where I had developed, like, my good sense of humor. You know what I mean? I would prank call, like, my friends and their moms would pick up and I'd do something stupid on the phone with their parents. And then their parents would like call and be like, "Onrie, I'd like to talk to your mom." And I'd be like, "This is Onrie's mom."
My friend, I was friends with the guys on fugly.com. If you guys don't know about that website, it's like they would fuck with people online. Like when people would try to do net sex and stuff. You remember that term, net sex? Well, so
no, I'm much older. I'm like a previous generation. I'm turning 40 this weekend.
I'm just looking at you.
You're 21. You're 21 forever, Christy.
Well, okay, thank you. I'll take that. But one of the things that my friends did at Fugly, like they would fuck with people that would try to net sex with them. And being a girl on the internet, women do complain like they get hit up a lot and stuff. So Onrie tried to prank call me, but I forgot his name is weird, and I have caller ID. I've actually been very drunk.
Actually, prank calls me when I call him. Like he'll pick up the phone and he'll talk with the Russian accent, and be like, "Hello,
hello, how are you?"
Every time.
So,
I can't prank call him. I can't do it. It doesn't work.
Well, no, it was really funny because like I've had guys like try to hit me up online. Like back in the day, they didn't have a good way of keeping your messenger private. And I had everything set to private because I just didn't want to talk to anybody or have anybody hit me up for anything that I didn't know. Like I would just want to have my friends on it. And there was this one guy that said, "Hey, I'll be by the phone. Why don't you talk to me?" I'm like, okay. So I just essentially scared the shit out of him. I basically told I sent him a model, like picture, like a Asian model, like generic Asian model. I sent it to him. And he said, "Well, that's not really you. That's an Asian model." And I'm like going, "Hey, Richard, what's up? That's an Asian model." And I'm like, "What, you're saying we all look alike?" And he said, no, I'm sorry. And he said, "Well, call me here. I'll be by the phone." I was like, okay. And I said, "Well, and then eventually I got him scared because I told him, "Hey, crap in a bottle and pee in it and I'll watch it bob around while you have sex with me." And he just said, "Oh," and he ran away.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, it's just one of my friends. One of my friends that was a veteran at the he was laughing his ass off.
From the challenge, he got scarred.
Oh, I mentally scarred his ass, and it was really funny. My friends from Fugly were like they were veterans. They would fuck with people. They would fuck with people, and like they read that, they thought it was the funniest shit ever. It's just like, I mean, I would give them a chance. Like I give them 3 chances. It's like if they're just wanting to have a conversation, cool. The moment they started with that ASL shit, like age, sex, location, or if they like, "Hey, how's it going?" And there was this one guy that was a Navy guy, and he was in San Diego, and I said some really fucked up shit to him, and he got mad and left. But I just didn't want, because he started like, "Hey, what's it like to you to hook up with a sailor?" I'm like, okay. And I just got evil.
Okay, we are going to take a very short commercial break, and we will be back, and then we're going to finish this out. In the meantime, be sure to check out Horror Studios and back Christie's Kickstarter.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey. And behind every page, there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time. For years, I have traveled the world slinging my creator-owned comics at the biggest and hottest cons. Now I'm sitting down with creators who have active crowdfunding campaigns happening right now, and I'm opening the gateway so that you can connect with them and support their work. You're watching Kickin It With Onrie, the live crowdfunding show.
What's up, everybody? We are back for the final stretch. I hope during this time, Chris, have we seen any progress in your Kickstarter? We're gonna have to start cracking down on these bees in the hizzy.
I have not seen a
What's up, Tommy?
numbers as of yet, or backers.
No more backers?
No.
Shame on you people! You gotta back that campaign. Raise your pledge. Get to that $7,000 mark. Do what I did. Back this campaign. Get this thing funded.
Everybody's like, oh,
Christy, I think I'm gonna have to raise my pledge even higher. In order, I mean, you know.
Come on, guys. You got to put your money where this mouth is. This man certainly is.
I mean, come on, guys.
The Baptist
preacher Onrie is scaring people.
Actually, I've been in a Southern Baptist church, Korean South
really?
Baptist. They're interesting. Yeah, you start singing, you get up, you sit down, you get up, you sit down, sermon, get up and sit down, get up, sit down. Okay, it's over.
Well, here's the
thing.
Exciting. I could never do that because
well,
I'm Jewish. Jewish people can't be in chapels.
Yeah, you get on fire. Like, just immediately walk through the chapel. It's like,
yes.
I know that's fucked up. I'm sorry. But then, like, you know, but the thing is, like, if I went into a synagogue, I don't know what the, like, I don't know if I think they'd just be like, yeah, don't eat pork. We're cool.
I actually eat bacon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there was one guy, like, it's funny because I know in Judaism and Islam, like, you guys don't eat pork, right?
Well, actually, I do. I should correct myself. I don't eat bacon anymore. I only eat, like, chicken and eggs and fish. I think you've been very, like, you eat pretty much the same way when we're hanging out in California. Like,
well, yeah,
I really like that Japanese restaurant.
Oh yeah. It's it actually changed its name. Where's the Reverend page numbers? We need him to influence the congregation to back. So
no, there's no page number. We're not talking page numbers anymore. We're talking issue numbers now, guys. We don't need them on the covers of our books.
Yeah,
we don't need any copy at all.
with Demon Bitch, you kind of don't need page numbers. I'm making everybody gasp, but it's like they're a bunch of like one-shot cards.
Yeah, they are a bunch of one-shot. Like you could pick up the book at any point, and it's a new strip, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of work too. I mean, like it's a big body of work, putting together these strips, keeping them up consistently, and then collecting them and doing all this on your own too.
Yeah. I do the book layout. I do the covers. I do everything on my own. The only thing I don't do on my own is the fan art. Like I asked just a few friends, hey, you want to do it? Get a free copy of the book, and they do it.
You actually illustrated a book about doing Kickstarters.
Yes, I did. It was a cover. It was like
Madeline with Madeline Roz.
Madeline Holly Rosing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was that experience like?
It was really cool. I mean, she was easy to work with. We still work together. I still help with her with her stuff. So it's like, she's good. She's a good person to work with. I mean, there's nothing bad. I would assume, I'm pretty sure like she has nothing bad to say about me. I think we're both enjoy each other's company. She keeps coming back to me to help her. So
I need to have her back on my show. It's been a while since I've spoken with her.
She's really cool. She's doing a lot too. Like she's in the $30,000 fucking Kickstarter club now. Like that's where I want to be right there. And she's like, what, over 300% funded at this moment. I'm like, shit.
I picked up your book. And I don't know where I have it, but I should read it. That's what I should read. I'm just like, I'm not in that place yet where I'm ready to launch, but I'm getting there kind of a thing. And it's just a matter of figuring out how it is. But the fact that you worked on a tool like this, and the proof is really in the pudding. The fact that you've had so many successful Kickstarter campaigns, and looking at where Madeline is now in her career, making these big leaps and bounds. It shows how much tenacity you guys have. Just keep at it, and I have no doubt soon that Demon Bitch is going to hit that. Plus, I also think that your audience is still, you gotta find your audience very like. I have to say it's the same problem I have. It's guerrilla tactics. Like we have to get out there and actually like reach people directly, and it's not always easy doing that even online. Like we actually still like need those in-person events because of the kinds of projects that we have decided to take on, which are a little bit different than what other creators are doing. And not to say that one thing is better or worse, but when you're doing something that's different, that's like more niche, like it kind of takes a little bit it takes a little longer to build up that bigger audience. And just seeing how you're growing with it by just continuously hitting that launch button is absolutely inspiring.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's kind of weird because in some ways I'm very very, 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 very focused, and it's like really well prepared, but every Kickstarter has its own ups and downs. It really does. And it's like, sometimes you're just like, you will deal with a frustrating patch like I did. And I got pissed off, because I was like tired of it, because it was sort of out of my control. But it was like, I was like, fuck, I'm so tired of this shit. And all of a sudden it opened up a bit. So it's like, I'm just kind of, going as I go, but it's like, I've been pushing all the time, but I have to understand, like we were talking earlier about how important it is to rest. Like that part in us that wants to keep doing something. And I'm just like today, I was just like, I'm exhausted. I took a nap and I'm still tired. And
I felt this way this week too. And I just gave myself a day. I mean, right now it's been annoying, but I find that just simply telling your mind that there's no point to stress kind of eases things up a bit and gets you to a state where you find clarity and can actually get things done. Like my biggest challenge this week was getting all my eBay listings up, and I had 250 listings I had to do and only 4 days to do it, which would mean I would have to literally list at least 50 to 60 items a day, and finding them, taking pictures of them, pricing them out, doing all this stuff. Because if I'm going through the problem or through the trouble of listing it up on eBay, I'm getting the full the full dollar, unless I want to sell it off as a bundle or whatever, but still it takes time to upload all this stuff. And the thing about it is I felt the stress, like, can I do it? Because I'm so tired from having done all these conventions, and then I got my live sales, and I got to send out stuff, and I got to keep my own comics going. And then you just kind of realize after a certain point that you'll get to it when you get to it, and you will get to it. So it's just allowing yourself to go at your pace, because we can only do so many things at once, and especially in comics, it's very hard to multitask when you're in the field of comics, because there's so many interesting facets to this industry, like even from sales and logistics to, just the actual production of the comic. So even seeing what your role is at Caps, it's very interesting, like how, you found this different like path for yourself to stay in this business and to be rather relevant in it, and predominant in it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I took it's basically that Caps is established by Sergio Aragonés and a few other writers. And, I wanted it to be something that was more, I don't want to say inclusive because that's kind of silly, but I wanted to see something more of a network, that I wanted to see what Caps was. And there's a lot of good people in the network itself. Some people have moved away, but I was thinking of maybe more tangible things, or more things that they can plug and play into their lives and into their careers that would work for them overall if they chose to use it. So that's one of the things I'm working on. Another thing is I'm going to be, it's more of like we're just modernizing the group in the sense of like more social media interaction, more social media tagging. We do have like the reputation there. Sometimes we work with the National Cartoonist Society on some things, like during some graphic novels, things like that. We want to go and stay continuous because, like, as we saw with Neil Adams, like, they're not going to be here forever. We got to keep their legacy, but go on and create new legacies. And some people, it is what it is, but you just got to keep doing it and keep advancing it and allow people to grow. That was the point of it anyway, to network and all that, and to create a community within the cartoonists. That's what we could do. And I'm trying to make that easier for people to do. So,
Christy, we're coming to the end of our show here. I want to thank you for coming on. Guys, once again, please back Christy's Kickstarter campaign. Christy, we're going to have you back on again. You're always welcome on Kickin' It. Thank you so much for being here with us this evening. I wish you the best of luck. I know you're going to do it. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. We're going to close up right now and tune in for Nick's original art show. Yes? All right, cool. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Love you all. See you later.
All right, bye-bye.